Welcome to the Bookers Alliance podcast, where we hold the pencil and the pencil is power. Coming at you right now is your host, Marky Mark, along with the man, the myth, the legend, Frank Donaldson. Join us as we discuss the ever-changing landscape of professional wrestling. So hang on tight, you jabronis, and enjoy the ride. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining today's episode of the Bookers Alliance podcast. Come on inside the house, bring yourself up your ringside seat, get your soda, your popcorn, your whiskey, get everything you need. We got some work to do today. We got our plans laid out. The blueprints are here. We had it all sent over from the agency, and we're going to figure out how do we fix this thing.
Well, first thing is first. After seeing the show in Chicago that we did not attend, because Chicago's still getting snow.
Yep.
So God bless y'all for that. Thanks for having the show. And then I saw the reminiscent Bulls entrance, the old 90s Michael Jordan entrance, and I'm like, damn, I really couldn't be there now because Punk would not have been on that 90s basketball team. Now,
Punk would have got punked out.
Don't get me wrong. Will Perdue and Bill Whittington also entered that song back in the day. So when people are like, Punk stole MJ's entrance, I'm like, now, wait a minute. Judd Butchler entered in that. Judd Butchler is basically CM Punk 30 years ago.
True.
So it's been done before. So I wasn't butthurt about it. But coming off of the Elimination Chamber, oh my God. We should have had a show about fixing that.
Yeah.
But let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's stay in format.
Before we put on our tool belts and start fixing stuff, though, let's talk about our sponsor. We got to talk about Wild Turkey, the 70th anniversary release.
Yeah, we needed a heavy hitter today because hell, I need to be drunk to work on this because I can't believe what we got to talk about for the next 40 minutes.
Yeah, so this is a 101 proof. It's a little hot. Your boys feel it. Let's give though kudos to and a toast to Mr. Randall Keith Orton.
All right,
for
men's winner of Elimination Chamber,
and Rhea Ripley,
women's
winner,
mommy. Yep. All righty then.
Little spicy.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're if our voices go up an octave or so, it's okay. we're just trying to get some breath back in our lungs. It's all right.
All right, we got to talk about this chamber. They kicked off with the women's chamber. First things first. Look, this ain't the Rumble. In the women's chamber and the men's chamber, y'all took forever to get y'all's asses in them pods and in that ring.
I mean, they enjoyed themselves, right? Everybody
Javon Evans had a 30-minute walk around.
Hell, they had to tell him. They're like, hey, damn, get your ass in there. And then the women, they all sized each other up. You know, the only one that got in the pod immediately was the first girl. Everybody else had to go size each other up, and they're staring each other down. Alexa Bliss and Rhea had an interesting interaction. I kind of wish there wasn't a pod there in that moment. But
yeah, you ain't wrong.
I mean,
that was apparently a throwback to many years ago when Rhea first got in the chamber with Alexa Bliss, and it was flipped on the other way around. Rhea was in the pod, and Alexa did that. So apparently there was a callback there.
Well, alrighty then. Or either that, or there was just some built-up tension that needed to be because.
Look, Alexa's like Io's out of the picture. So
yeah, I mean, hey, she wasn't in the chamber.
It's
like, hey, well, what have you done for me lately?
And I mean, there was chains. The whips might not have been far behind.
The words I heard out of Rhea Ripley's mouth is if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. All right, tell that's some Luther Vandross for y'all's asses right there.
So we had a decent match. Also got to give a shout out.
I mean,
Tiffany.
This was the best match of the night. Before we go into decent, this was as good as it got for me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So shout out to Tiffany Stratton though. Her ring attire, she was on point. That butterfly ring attire, that was the coolest ring attire that I've seen her in. And look, I'll talk about ring attire for guys too, so I ain't just talking about the ladies. But
I won't. But I will talk about the various wardrobe malfunctions we've had lately in WWE.
There was a lot in this match.
Yeah, there definitely was. They loaded them up in here, and I'm like, damn, did we not get enough viewers for the chamber? Are they like trying to get the last minute buys in the first match?
In there, but that match was interestingly played out. Very, very good. Raquel Rodriguez was booked as the big man, so to speak.
Yeah,
in that role.
She was the heavy in that match.
Her taking Kiana James through the pod?
Yep.
And in the Braun Strowman Slam special, so to speak. That was really
Where'd
cool
she learn that from?
Yeah, I wonder who she learned that from.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. But everything that happened in that match, I liked it. Was it predictable as hell? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we pretty much walked our way all the way to the end of that. We both came down to the last two which were our picks, and your pick took the W. My pick did not, which the question I immediately asked is, okay, so now where do any of these other girls go at Mania? And we had nothing.
Where do they go?
But whatever.
Yeah. So, Rhea, congratulations. You know, it started off with fireworks, apparently, though. Rhea and Jade have been going back and forth heavy in a Twitter battle.
They don't seem to like each other on Twitter, but somebody brought it up. You know, around this time last year, Charlotte and Tiffany were kind of doing the same thing. I'm not necessarily sure this isn't an unreal storyline that they're cooking up here. I don't know if these girls...
This is a shoot, work.
That's what I mean. I don't know if these girls even care about each other in real life. They might not even know each other. They probably never crossed paths. They're not even on the same show.
If I'm them, and all of the wrestling marks and dirt sheets out there are going, oh shit, look at everything that they're stirring up. Lean into it. It's working. It works.
And they got no other reason to have this match.
No, they don't.
Because I've never seen these two women in the ring together.
I mean,
before,
Rhea's jumping ship to the other show to have this feud.
Well, that's what I mean. I've never seen these two in the ring together. So, I mean, I have no inkling of caring about these two wrestling other than they're probably the two biggest, strongest girls in wrestling right now.
Right.
Other than that, I couldn't give two damns about this. So at least if they stir up this online drama on Twitter, at least that brings me in a little bit like, oh, wait a minute, they got some beef? Okay, I'll pay attention to it now, because otherwise, yawn.
So what we're saying, Rhea, and what we're saying, Jade, and what we're saying, Hunter, is if you really don't like each other, cool. You ain't got to be friends.
No.
Just get in that ring together and make money.
Yeah.
So give us fans something. If you're going to lean into it, lean into it.
That's why I say, continue the beef online because...
Let it be nasty if you want it to be. I don't care.
Last year, I didn't care about the Charlotte-Tiffany match either.
Until it blew up.
Yeah, until it started getting real, right? Yeah. Until it started getting, a little jabby. It started getting a little punchy. Twitter things came out, some stuff was said face to face. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm really interested in this match right now. But
in that match, though, that match wasn't the greatest match.
No,
when it all came down to it. We knew it wasn't going to be, but there was some real shots handed out.
Yeah, you got to have a potato in there every now and again.
Tiffany lost them 2 front teeth.
Yeah, but I mean, look at it this year, though. If they're following the same formula, it isn't like it ain't going to work. Because, I mean, this is the kind of stuff and let's be honest, when the Meltzers of the world and them guys, when they look at women's wrestling, all they think about is, cat fight and hair pulling and blah, 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 blah. So, okay, if you want to get those people interested, that IWC, that small, minute, loud minority we talked about last week, you give them stuff like this and that'll get them interested. So you got to play with what works.
You want to make it interesting?
Yes.
I'm going to make it
Please.
How do we fix this?
Yeah, exactly.
How do we fix this? I'm going to make it interesting. To my knowledge, there has not been a last woman standing match.
Ooh. You want to put Jade in a last woman standing match?
I would rather see her outside of the ring with a weapon than inside of the ring with a submission hold.
Well, that could turn into that could be a Falls Count Anywhere. That could be a Vegas street fight.
Let them lean into
you got to do something else.
Let them lean into this that we don't like each other and give me a first. Give me a first ever last women standing match. Give me that. I don't think there's been one.
Well, rumor has it that Bianca Belair may still get involved in this some way or another. So, hey, if that's the way we go and she's capable, she's able to do it, then hey.
Was Jade and Naomi a stip other than the fact that Bianca was the special ref?
Yeah, it was.
What was that stip?
It was like a hardcore match or something. Because remember, they had kendo sticks and everything found its way in there.
So did Jade look bad in that match?
No, because it was a bad looking match.
There you go.
And that's what you have to do with her. You got to cover up any weaknesses she's going to have and say, hey.
Can Rhea hang in that style of match?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So give it to me. Give me the train wreck.
Yeah, if Bianca's going to get involved in there, then hey, like you said, make it like that. That way, there's no disqualification involved. If she comes in and interferes, no shade off anybody's back.
Yep. All right, let's talk about the women's Intercontinental belt that happened in this it happened.
In
this chamber.
It happened pretty much just as scripted.
As scripted as we called it.
Yeah.
Do I like the fact that AJ is now Women's Intercontinental Champ? Cool. Sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we do?
Nothing.
I mean, we got a 6-woman match soon for a number 1 contendership.
Yeah.
Out of those 6 women, those are some of the women that were in or not in the Elimination Chamber that probably should have been in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
So are we saying our Plan A players, because Rhea's taking that spot now, get moved to the Intercontinental Belt spot?
So I think I asked you this specifically.
We did.
I also brought it up in the last segment of this show. When the losers lose, where do we go from here, right? So, okay, Rhea won. Rhea sends off into the program with Jade. She's now your number 1 contender for the WWE Women's Championship. The hell else is out there for anybody else? We got the United States Women's title floating around. We got the IC title floating around. We got the tag titles floating around. No storylines around any of that. There's nothing going on with any of it right now that's interesting. So now we're going to wander our way for the next 6 weeks into number 1 contenders this, number 1 contenders that. Hell, if anybody had any kind of working storyline, we wouldn't be in a full panic now with 10 women involved in every match to try and pull out a feud.
So I know how this is going to go. To me, it's written on the wall. Your number 1 contenders match, that's going to be AJ's feud going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, of course.
Right? Okay. Who wasn't on that graphic for the number 1 contendership?
A lot of women.
That she just faced and won the belt off.
Yeah, I was going to say Becky wasn't in there.
Becky's not on there. So here's how this is going to play out. AJ's going to get her number 1 contendership match. Whoever comes out of that's going to be AJ's opponent.
Uh-huh.
Becky's going to pull a gimmick to where it's legal. And Legal's going to put her into this match to where you get a 3-way at Mania.
Good God.
With Becky not pinning AJ to win the belt back.
So here's the issue that I'm starting to see with Mania. Every time we get into a flux. Every time we get into a flux, it turns into a 3-way, right? Yep. Like when Cody was champion and we said, okay, who's he going to wrestle at WrestleMania?
Yep.
Way back in November time, we were saying probably Randy Orton, right? Because there was nobody else. Once we saw Roman, you started talking, leaning towards CM Punk, and then definitely once he won the Rumble, we knew immediately, okay, Roman and Punk, they're going with that. Who's going to wrestle Cody? The only name we could come up with even feasible was Randy Orton on SmackDown. That was the only contender on SmackDown that we said, this guy's the guy. He's there. Well, then they pulled a fast one on us and they gave Drew the title. Now it's like, whoa. Everything's in a flux again. Where are we going to go? Where did we end up settling on? How do we figure that problem out? 3-way. We said, oh, well, now it's going to be Cody. Jacob helped Drew win the title from Cody, so those 3 are going to wander their way into a 3-way. Now I ain't even sure none of the 3 of them are going to be involved at this point. I don't know which only one of the 3 is going to be there because Randy Orton is your number 1 contender. So do they go one-on-one, Drew and Randy, which we've seen a million times and no one's going to be interested in? Or do they wander into let's put the title on Cody Rhodes on SmackDown on Friday and then have Randy and Cody one-on-one? Or do we scrap the whole 3-way idea and turn it into a 4-way dance and put everybody that we just mentioned involved in that storyline into one damn match and wrestle for the title?
I think all of that is a possibility.
Oh, God. So
we'll get to that.
Do you think they know what the answer is?
I do not.
I don't think so either. That's why I'm throwing all those options out there, because I don't think they have any clue which exact way they want to go. I figure they're going to try and play it all by ear and hope for the best.
So let's get back to the AJ and Becky Lynch match, though. Was it a good match? Yeah, it was decent. I mean,
it was reminiscent of Punk's first match back.
Yeah.
It was kind of slow. It was kind of dragging. It was kind of, Becky's going to have to carry this here, and then we're going to get the heroes, return from AJ, and then we get the W. I
mean, for nostalgia reasons, it's cool, but at the same time, I'm going to tell you as a fan where I fell out of the picture Monday night. I fell out of the picture Monday night with AJ's promo in the ring. Yeah. AJ, I get it. You might have been handed bullet points and said, "Here's what you need to say," but there was no interest on that promo at all.
So AJ's still doing 2014 promos. That's problem number one. She's still promoing like she used to promo. Problem number two, she wasn't in Chicago no more. So when she won the title in Chicago and she's now embraced as a hometown girl because of Punk, of course the pop was huge. Of course everybody was there for it. Well, when we had to move over to Indianapolis on Monday night, that Chicago crowd didn't travel.
Nope.
They stayed at home and they said, hey, Indy, y'all got this. We had our fun. And Indy didn't care. They're like, whatever.
It fell so flat.
Yeah, it was a big whatever. It was a big, okay, let's hurry this up. Who are you going to wrestle? And then when they came back and said, well, we're going to do a tournament for it, Indy just died right there. They just said, you know what? Forget it. Who cares?
Speaking of forget it, who cares? Let's talk about Punk versus Finn Balor.
Yeah.
Look, this match was for what it was. It was an okay match. I much preferred the first Finn Balor CM Punk match, just because it felt real.
Yeah, well, it felt like there was a shot in that.
Right.
I mean,
because
there was
Roman wasn't circling the picture during that time frame, so it felt like Finn had a shot.
Right, because we had no clue where they were going at Mania.
As soon as I saw Finn Balor make his entrance, and even though as much as I was talking up the demon on the last podcast, when there was no demon makeup, I thought that it was just Finn Balor coming out. I was like, oh, hell, he ain't winning this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. In Chicago? Come on.
He's not winning this thing.
Way.
So, I mean, could it have been a shock surprise if they would have pulled the trigger on that? Sure.
Yeah,
would it have been worth it? No.
If you want to unalive an entire crowd, it would have been. And then the fact that they had it before the Chamber too.
Yeah.
I mean, they would have had it would have been an empty stadium arena match for the Chamber had they not let Punk leave with that title. That would have been almost as dead on arrival as the Danhausen introduction. But
speaking of Danhausen,
God, let's speak about it real fast. Let's get
all right. So here we go. So we called it. We called Danhausen coming out of the box. We kind of saw it happen. Ugh. All right. So here's my take on it. Did it go over like a fart in church Saturday night Elimination Chamber? Absolutely.
100%.
100%.
As predicted.
Now, we ain't talked about Monday Night Raw in regards to Danhausen.
Okay.
I liked what they did with Danhausen Monday night.
What was that?
See? Oh.
Yeah, no, that's the segment I went to the bathroom.
Went to the bathroom.
Yeah, or I went and got some snacks or
so he
whatever.
had a jokeable, entertaining segment with Adam Pearce where he was like, hey, now that I'm here, I've got a list of demands. He was like, I want a Hall of Fame induction this year. So great. he was like, I want my Triple H picture with the point. I heard those are very hard to get.
Okay.
So he had some very cool things.
Did he put a request in that they pipe in cheers the next time he comes out?
No, but then here we go. Here's where they start leaning into the Danhausen gimmick. Judgment Day walks by. Adam Pearce is like, hey, Judgment Day, meet Danhausen. I gotta go. Peace out. And he and Judgment Day is like, I don't want to talk to this dude. Blah blah blah. Danhausen has an introduction, and then Danhausen looks at Dom and he pulls his Danhausen stick. He cursed Dom Mysterio. Well, at the end of Monday Night Raw, who lost their Intercontinental Champion? Dom Mysterio. He lost his belt.
God, so Dom's going to wrestle Danhausen at Mania?
No, it's not that. Danhausen is going to be the character that falls into a series of fortunate or unfortunate events, and it's going to make it look like Danhausen has this mystique with his curses. That's what they're going to play into.
Gross.
I know. I know.
I couldn't hate it more.
I know. But there is a certain tongue-in-cheek level, too, that I can get down with, especially if they give him the right dance partner. You know who the right dance partner is for Danhausen.
I have no idea because
it's R-Truth. It's
oh
truth.
God,
it's Truth.
Good Lord Almighty!
If you put Danhausen and Truth together, I think you got comedy.
I think you got the drizzling shits, as they would say. But
so I'm Bruce Pritchard right now booking this.
So here's the one takeaway I got about this whole Danhausen thing, and this I'm gonna say it, then we're just gonna leave it because there ain't much else to say after that. In the last 3 months, WWE has signed two AEW wrestlers of note. Correct?
Yep.
One is Powerhouse Hobbs, now known as Royce Keys,
yep.
And the other is Danhausen.
Yep.
We saw both of them debut on a pay-per-view.
Yep.
How many other times have you seen Royce Keys on WWE television?
They have no plans for that.
So we can follow up immediately with Danhausen, but we got nothing to do with Royce Keys. That's what you're telling me?
I'm just telling you, Triple K's in the booking room.
I've got nothing else to say. Moving on.
Moving on.
Back to Punk.
So, Punk, Finn, good match. Predictable as hell. Let's get to the chamber. Let's talk about this. Everybody had their million-minute entrance. It took forever and a day. The standout people for my view in this men's chamber match, I thought Javon Evans and Trick Williams looked really good in this chamber. I thought they came off really well.
Yeah.
I thought it was squandered the fact, though, that Logan Paul pinned them and LA Knight all at the same time. I understand why Logan Paul was chosen to do that. I get it, because it wasn't supposed to be Logan Paul. It was supposed to be Bronson Reed.
It was and Bronson was supposed to have his big monster push to lead into the Seth return, which we got at the end of it. So, yeah, it all adds up. And Logan Paul had to play the role because he's the only Vision member healthy. So I get it, but damn.
It's lazy because they didn't have time to rewrite anything. They just went with it.
Well, I don't know if I want to call it lazy. That's unfortunate timing, right? Because I mean, they had less than a week to figure out. Holy hell, we had because they already had to pivot once, right? The original plan, as we know, was Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker.
Yep.
So okay, Braun's out now. Conversation is being had that Braun Breaker might actually make it back in time for Mania, but at this point you squandered that. That's a wreck, right? No need to bring him back half cocked or possibly re-risk injury for a story that you can only build up over like a week.
Yeah,
forget that. So okay, but you pivot to Bronson Reed. We've been cheering Bronson Reed here for 2 years now. We've been saying it's time to make this guy a main eventer. It's time to get this guy in the title picture. It's time to get him working with top tier talent. And they worked it with Roman Reigns. Well, then this whole Vision thing came, and God only knows, it kind of went off the rails. Well, luck be the lady that all the injuries happened. Bronson Reed got pushed right up to the front.
Yep.
And we said, well, damn, Bronson Reed by a hook or by a crook is finally going to get his time.
He's going to get there.
He earned it. He worked for it, and he waited it out. And damned if he didn't go get his turn. And for whatever reason or another, he tried to break up a pin with a clothesline attempt and no longer can wrestle out 4 to 6 months.
So here's the writing on the wall of what's going to happen. And we had a discussion about this through text message Monday night. Here's the writing on the wall. What happened to Paul Heyman at the beginning of Raw kind of set in motion to me what their plans are for Mania. And this is how they fixed it. But let's see if it's what we would have done.
Okay.
So with Seth Rollins attacking Paul Heyman, that seems to me like Paul Heyman might be looking at a certain beast incarnate now to be his backup. I foresee the Seth Rollins being the answer to Brock Lesnar's open challenge. It's unfortunate we wanted it to be Oba Femi.
Maybe we did. Maybe we did. But Oba seems to be also pivoting. Yeah.
With Rusev.
Yeah.
Well, why wouldn't Seth go up against Logan Paul or Austin Theory since they're in the Vision? Well, they're also pivoting. They were attacked by the Usos.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's going to be the Vision remaining members of Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus the Usos for the tag belts at Mania. I'm guaranteeing you're probably going to get Brock Lesnar versus Seth Rollins to defend Paul's honor. And Oba is going to wind up working a program with Rusev until we get to Mania. And then you're going to get probably Oba and Rusev, unfortunately, buried fourth down the card of one of the nights.
Well, we got Oba and Rusev next Monday. So I don't know if that's the way.
That's going to be a teaser. That's not going to be a match.
At this stage, I mean, if you look at where Rusev is and, he's hitting back to the Rusev day with the T-shirt wearing and things like that. I don't know if Rusev hadn't already shot his biggest shot in his return, and might be a wrap.
You want a hot take?
Yeah, give me what you got.
Rusev is not the monster that he once was.
Yeah, I mean, well,
him versus Oba, when he bucked up against Oba, he looked small as hell.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. He is the monster he once was, but he was wrestling in a small guy's world at the time. WWE has remonstered back up.
He's not the monster that was out there fighting John Cena. He's not the heavy anymore.
No, he's just a guy at this point. And I mean,
I could see him taking the fight to Oba.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no way he should beat Oba.
No, absolutely not. God, no.
Because if you want to talk about...
If that happens, then at this point, you have to bring up charges against Triple H for racial discrimination. Good God almighty.
If you're trying to build a meaty man slapping meat match, as Big E would say, it ain't Rusev versus Oba.
And that's why I don't think that's where they're going to go at Mania. I don't see them going that direction. I don't see Rusev working his way up to a Mania match because he barely wrestles on Raw. He's barely on TV. I don't see him earning a way to WrestleMania, even if they do have to pivot 100 different ways.
They got to put Oba, though, in there with somebody that's going to make Oba look like a monster and give him the win. Is that Brock?
No. So, and that's why I said, so what I realized when I was watching the Elimination Chamber was the same thing that we realized after we watched John Cena wrestle his last match. And we said, wait a minute. Hell, anybody who wrestles John Cena was going to get booed out of the building, and we don't want that for Oba. That's the wrong direction. That would have been counterproductive to what they're doing with him. Well, that's the same thing against Brock Lesnar at this point. Brock Lesnar is damn near John Cena-esque. He's the beast incarnate. Yeah, he's a shit-talking cowboy, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, he's still Brock Lesnar. Everybody loves him. So if he comes out there and he's big and bad and all that other, the fans are going to pop to see the match. But are they going to pop for Oba if he beats Brock Lesnar clean? The first time out that's not going to happen.
It's not.
What would end up happening is what usually happens when WWE is trying to cram somebody down your throat, and they turn on him. And that's what I fear would happen with Oba if you do that with Brock Lesnar now. Give it a year? Yeah, in a year we could talk about it. Even at SummerSlam we could talk about it. But they've had one interaction they've touched twice. Physically twice touched in all the time they've been there. Now they're going to wander themselves into a title match or into a main event style match at Mania. The fans aren't going to get behind Oba. They're going to turn on Oba and support Brock, and then now you've killed what you're building with Oba. So I don't want to see it anymore, but I also don't think that we're going to get Seth and Brock at Mania now. I just don't see that because I feel like Seth's return isn't I'm going to answer the Open Challenge kind of return. Seth in the past was one that gave the Open Challenge. He doesn't answer those challenges. And I feel like with his status on the card, the young talent, at least for storyline purposes, should be trying to come after a guy like him.
Let me book you into a way then where it would make sense instead of him answering the Open Challenge. Just to answer the Open Challenge.
Okay.
All right. So Paul shows up next week with his boys.
So let me add before we continue. So you think Paul comes back to TV that fast?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
It's Mania season. He can't afford to be off TV.
Can he not? His entire faction is gone. No. If I'm Paul Heyman, I would have. If I'm Paul Heyman, what happened on Monday writes me off TV for at least 2 months.
He's going to come out in the neck brace, crutches. The whole 9 yards, possibly wheelchair. He's going to come out in the whole 9 yards.
Do we even know where he ended up? Because you got to get all that stuff from a hospital.
You got to let me. Yeah, LA Knight might have not taken you to the hospital. He might have taken you to the bar.
There's the name that we're talking about. But continue.
So let's. So I'm going to book this for you and see where it goes. So Paul comes out there with his boys. Paul's talking all kinds of shit about Seth. Seth comes out there with his boys. That's showing up in the black hoods. Ugh. So Seth comes out there with his boys, beats down Paul's boys, and gets ready to attack Paul again. But this time, Brock's music hits. Brock comes out, lays waste to everybody, saves Paul. He's the savior of the day, and takes Paul, and they float onto the back. So at that point, Brock beat down Seth. Now that does give some credence for Seth to go answer the challenge. Like, I want Paul, but I guess I'm going to have to go through you to get to Paul. So I'm going to go through you. I'm your Open Challenge.
Okay.
So what if they book it that way? But then, hold on. But then LA Knight shows up. Because you're not going to get Brock and Seth running a program until Mania. There's 7 weeks. So Knight pops in and says, hey, Seth, you're still on my spotlight here. I was the one chasing the vision. I was chasing you. If anybody wants Paul, it's me. So then you get a program for the next 4 or 5 weeks between Seth and LA Knight. And that puts Brock on the back burner. Whoever comes out of this program between Seth and LA Knight, that's who gets to go face Brock for the Open Challenge.
All right, so There was at least like 3 inconsistencies in there that I just couldn't follow along with, but it went too long, so I forgot most of them. I know.
See, that's what you do as a booker. You try to make people forget.
Right. So I still remember the first. I guess the biggest one is the whole Paul coming back next week thing. So Paul doesn't go off in an ambulance to just come back next week, right? For one, and for two,
so he don't come back next week, but he's definitely gonna be back the week after.
Maybe, but
he can't be off TV, man. It's Mania season.
Yeah, but who's he representing? I mean,
he's representing Brock Lesnar, who has an open challenge and has 4 or 5 appearance dates on Monday Night Raw before WrestleMania.
Well, that's every WrestleMania.
Brock ain't coming out there by himself.
Yeah, but that's every WrestleMania. That's every Raw between now and WrestleMania. And Brock ain't going to be on every Raw between now and WrestleMania. They listed his appearances.
He's in there for a good few of them, at least 4.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He might be on for a few of them, but he ain't going to be on for all of them.
You're going to see Paul.
Even Roman ain't going to be back for all of them now. You know Brock ain't coming back for no more than Roman comes back.
That's Rusty Reigns.
Hell, they're probably that's alternating at best. I think the weeks we see Roman ain't going to be the weeks we see Brock and vice versa. I don't see the two of them overlapping each other too much and not touching. You never want to have Brock and Roman together if they're not going to touch, because God knows that's dynamite. You don't just want to tease that.
You say dynamite, I say old news.
But
we've seen it 1,000 times.
But when you're looking at the Mania thing, so one, the whole Paul, he coming back next week. If he comes back next week, then they have no payoff on the whole LA Knight drives him out of the state, the arena thing in the ambulance. He followed up on social media to show that he was still driving the ambulance around the city, and Paul was in the back. So I mean, you're not going to not pay that off, right? I think that was the seed plant of the upcoming match that we've been hearing the rumors of LA Knight and Brock Lesnar. I think that's where the seed started, and I think you just build up from it from there. You have to work your way into it. They're actually trying to create some story that I might care about to figure out what happened between LA Knight and Brock. So if we get to that, I see that going there, but that takes me back to the original of now what do we get from Seth? Oh, and I remember the other inconsistency you had in there. You said Seth and his boys come out and beat up Paul and his boys. You're telling me the kids from the Black and Gold damn training school are going to come out there and beat the hell out of Logan Paul and Austin Theory tomorrow? Good God almighty. If we start doing that at this point, now we just don't care no more. We're just like, you know what? We have no clue what we're doing. Let's just throw some stuff out there and let's see what happens. We can't do these things. That would be insane. That would actually take me out of the build up I have for the match. Yeah, if it has to be LA Knight and Brock Lesnar, I don't want it, but I'm willing to settle for it if they follow up with this ambulance storyline. If you come out there next week with what you just gave me there and they do it just like that, God, that's AEW booking right there. At this point now, yeah, that's what I mean. That's not how you fix it. That's how you fuck it.
So that's all a mess. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all a mess.
Well, the whole thing's a mess. We can't fix them all.
Can't fix them all.
We ain't getting paid. Now, if we were on payroll, we could fix these things. I'm just letting you know. We could book them. We could book this so perfectly that everything would make sense, and that's hard to do. That deserves a bonus.
But what do you do with Seth if it's not Seth then?
So at this point, Seth's it's got to be the Vision. I mean, so again, like I said, I've heard rumors.
So are we tagging?
No, maybe. I mean, Seth,
are we Seth and LA Knight versus Brock and a returning Braun Breaker?
No, absolutely not. There's no way we're doing that as a tag. Had you not said Braun Breaker, or had you not said Brock, maybe, but yeah, there's no way you're getting Brock in a tag at Mania. I've never seen Brock in a tag, period. I've seen him only do
I've never seen
the Survivor Series thing, but I've never seen him
with a boombox, though. Which
we have seen that with a Money in the Bank boombox.
Yeah, I've seen him with a car door.
Yeah, I've seen him with
he launched the car door into the fans.
I've seen him work one-on-one with R-Truth and making some of the best comedy on TV ever. So he could do that.
That's Brock's open challenge right there.
Yeah, he could do that. Now, that would be great, actually. Yeah, R-Truth come out there and take like 2 F5s and get a big WrestleMania pay date. I'm there for that. Sign me right on up.
R-Truth done shaved all that hair.
Yeah,
I saw him today. He's bald as hell.
Now. Yeah, he's doing so apparently now he's moved to TikTok and Instagram for his backup income, and it seems to be doing good. So, but yeah, he clean shaven now. But yeah, I digress on that.
All right, let's talk about the WWE title real quick, because this is all in a mess, all in a state.
Yeah, we're in a mess too. Hey, good Lord.
So Randy Orton comes out the Elimination Chamber winner. He comes out, so he gets the right now to challenge Drew McIntyre, the current champ, at WrestleMania. But then Drew McIntyre decided to wander his way into the Elimination Chamber and calls Cody the pin. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I mean, he didn't cause him to lose, but he was directly adjacent to it. Yeah. So now Nick Aldis has kind of come out there and basically said, look, Drew, your penalty for doing what you did is now you got to defend your title against Cody on Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah.
And that's going to determine who Randy Orton goes on to WrestleMania to face.
Yeah.
If you give me Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, I'm down with that. I'm down.
Thank God you are, because I'm
down with it. I'm down with it.
I've seen enough of that post-pandemic that if I never see those two wrestle one-on-one again, I'll be okay.
I think we'll get there. But if you give me Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes,
now you're talking.
Now we're talking.
Now you've got an equal night one main event that runs on par with your night two. Yeah, because those are four characters where I'm like, okay, sign me up for this.
I do not like. It's hard for me to say this. I do not like how fast they're taking that belt on and off Cody. I don't like it.
Well,
but how do you think John got to 17?
Yeah, I was going to say, and you got to look at who's doing it, right? Triple H, 14-time champion, and he went through a lot of hodgepodge, patty cake, and handy and hot potato with the title to get. Because
it makes 14, makes Cody seem like he can get it, but he can't hold on to it.
Yeah, it does.
But we've also said though in our little our Booker brains here that Cody works best chasing.
Yeah. So right, and at the end of the day, that part's true.
You got to lose it to chase it again.
Yeah. So. What we're staring at now is Cody's going to go into Mania defending again. So
and I mean, logic, good wrestling logic will tell you if Cody carries that belt to WrestleMania and it's versus Randy Orton. I'm sorry, but Randall Keith Orton should walk out that as champion.
At the stage of his career that he's at now, I mean, his health is right, his size is right, everything looks good, and he's flowing. And let's be honest, even Kim Orton, his beautiful wife, has said they barely used Randy Orton correctly this whole year.
Yeah.
So you've bumbled a few different times. You fumbled the ball a couple different times on Randy's return. He's owed this at this point. Yeah. And it would put him in esteemed company because he would be at that point over the tie with Triple H in world titles, being led by John Cena and Ric Flair. If I'm Randy Orton, hey, that's key for me. I need that.
Yeah.
In my career, I
hang my hat on that.
Yeah,
career.
Absolutely. I need that. So if I've got any backstage pull left in my pocket, I'm using it.
So let me put it this way. When Cody has held that belt backstage and in-ring promos and all this other crap that you've seen Cody hold this belt through, when Randy gets around, what do you see Randy do?
Randy's always keeping an eye on that belt.
Always. He ain't keeping an eye on Cody.
No.
He's keeping an eye on that belt.
But if you notice, he only keeps an eye on the belt when it's with Cody. Yeah, he didn't really care much for it when it was Drew. He had no interest in Drew, but Randy's been eyeing it. I mean, they've been teasing this for a year.
Yes.
Since it wasn't immediately after 41 when he won the title, or 40 when he won the title. But damn, in between 40 and 41, before he lost to John Cena, Randy was keeping an eye on the belt. He made a couple mentions to it. He told him one day, I'm coming for this. He said, hey, they flat out. He said, one day I'm coming. Well, that day has come.
We've already laid out the groundwork for everybody at WWE headquarters on how to book this. We've laid it out, but we're going to lay it out one more time. How do you get Randy and Cody? How do you get the belt on Randy? And how do you get a rematch at SummerSlam? It's easy. Randy punts Cody in this match.
Yeah,
and Cody goes away for a while.
We've been saying for a while Cody needs a little break. So here's something, a little bit of irony that I don't know if everybody caught on to just yet, but I'm taking let's say your 2000s, 2010s top guys that are still active, right? The only two guys that are still active from that era of wrestling are CM Punk and Randy Orton. They're the only ones that were world champions in the 2000s and the 2010s that are still out there getting it.
True.
And then now you're taking, who's your top two guys in WWE today?
Am I smelling what The Rock is cooking?
There you go.
I think I know where you're going.
I think you're seeing what's boiling up over here.
Night of Champions?
Yeah, this is going to be one of those stages where we're going to do some torch passing or some torch giving, or there's going to be a changing of the guards one way or the other. I think we're going to get it on Raw because we're going to usher out the old and in with I guess Roman ain't exactly new, but he's the current. Let's call it that. But I think on the other side, I think we're going to go the complete opposite. I think Cody's going to drop to the same way as you said. I think Cody's going to drop to Randy. One, because we definitely don't want Roman to be, alternate champion against a damn Cody. I mean, that's a nightmare situation at that point.
Do not give me Roman Cody 3 at Night of Champions.
Well, that's where I'm getting to. Once we get to the Survivor Series, once we get to that Saudi show, then we're staring down if those two guys are champs. I'm like, no, so we can't get there.
I do not want Cody Roman 3 until I am sure as hell that The Rock is done.
Now, wait a minute. A couple of months ago, you were clamoring for Roman Cody 3 at this year's Mania, which for an inkling of time, I was afraid we were going to wander our way into that. I was like, holy hell, what are we doing here?
Things have changed.
Thank God they pivoted their way out of that, because good Lord.
To me, the Randy Cody is way more interesting than Roman Cody 3.
Yeah.
Rock Roman.
Well, Randy Cody, we've never gotten with this Cody. No. We had it in Legacy, blah, 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 but that wasn't the Cody we're dealing. That wasn't the American Nightmare.
Rock Roman is the elusive unicorn that I don't know that we're ever going to get because the time has passed. And unfortunately, or fortunately for my sake, I was on the side of the fight that was like, fuck Rock Roman. I want Cody Roman.
Yeah, me
and the Cody Crybabies.
Y'all fudged that whole thing up. And if you look at it now, we've been nothing but downhill ever since WrestleMania 4.
It's our fault, Cody Crybabies.
So let's call a spade a spade. Let's we got a couple of minutes. We got at least 2 minutes. Let's talk about that. I remember saying back in, what was that, 2024? When we had that, 2024, when all this was going on. I remember flat out saying, if we don't do Rock Roman now, I remember one saying, when do we do it? We may never do it. And I remember you countering, well, we'll just do it at 41. And obviously that never came to fruition. But for 2, I remember explicitly saying, if we don't do Rock Roman now, if we end up doing Cody and Roman, Cody's going to win. And where do we go from here? I said, is the business going to feel as hot as it does at this very moment if that's the way we go? And I remember you saying, because you were a Cody fan at the time, you said, oh, it's going to go farther. It's going to exceed all beliefs, everything that we've seen up to this point in the shadows. And none of that came to fruition.
You know what I think honestly happened? I think the boulder that rolled down the hill to kind of turn everything off and make everything decline again, the Seth Rollins win at Mania and that triple threat between Seth, Roman, and Punk. I think that was the catalyst. And here's why I think that was the catalyst. Because that took and separated the wise man from Roman.
Yeah, I mean... Roman flat out said in the promo he cut, he said, hey, we had 2 years with this whole let's not make me the focal point experiment.
Right.
And Roman was absolutely correct when he said it. It's been 2 years of failure. And at this point now, the booking team is being questioned. The participants, the superstars are being questioned. Everybody's being questioned, but 2 years ago, I told everyone on this very show, and you can listen in the archives, go back to 2024 and listen. I told everybody this is what was going to happen. I said, we're not going to come out of the other side of Cody taking that title off of Roman right now in the same situation that we're at now. I said then we should have went with Roman Rock and then worked into the anniversary date that Cody would have had with the Dusty Rhodes thing at Madison Square Garden, blah, 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 blah. And we could have worked it into that, and it would have been a greater storyline. And everybody said, no, we got to have that loud minority IWC that I've been bitching about for 2 weeks now.
You wouldn't have got the finish at WrestleMania 40 had not we whined and complained to get that finish. You wouldn't have got it.
Yeah, look what it got us.
But tell me, was that not the best ending to a story ever?
It was the end of everything. Look where we got us now. Hold on, I got one question before we end it.
Snap.
Yeah, I got one question.
Here's the Thanos snap.
No, forget the snap. When Thanos picked up the Soul Stone, what did he have to do?
He had to he had to kill his own daughter.
Right. And when his daughter came back at the end of the movie and said, what did it cost you?
Everything.
Exactly. That's exactly where we're at.
Everything.
You guys wanted Cody so bad to be the champion, and it cost us everything.
And I don't regret it.
Neither did Thanos.
I don't.
So at this point now, y'all are Thanos.
We are Thanos.
Right. The IWC is now Thanos.
To quote another comic book storyline, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Could be, but now you guys are Thanos. But in 5 years later,
the villain storyline is coming. I'm just telling you, the villain storyline.
Here's where we're going to end.
By the time you get to Cody Roman 3, the roles will be reversed. Roman is not your heel. Roman will not be the guy being booed. Roman will be the guy being cheered.
We could have got there this year,
where
but
Cody
Lord
is the
knows
guy
I
being
did not
booed.
want it this year.
Out
of the 5 years between Infinity War and Endgame, that's what was said there. The Avengers had to reassemble, and they had to come back and overthrow the villain. And I think that's what we're going to get at this year's Mania out of Roman Reigns. I think the Avengers and the Bloodline are going to reassemble, and they're going to take down all you crybabies and send y'all back into the dust. Thank goodness.
All right, everybody, that's our show. How do we fix it? Hell, I don't know if we fixed it, but we sure as hell tried.
Well, next week's show will be how do we fix the shit we said this week's show. So,
thank you for listening, everybody. Appreciate all you do. Go out on our social media platforms, drop us a line, tell us your thoughts, and with that, everybody, we thank you and we bid you adieu.
Peace. We got to send a shout out to
Today's podcast was produced by SBP. You can find our podcast on all major podcast platforms. Also, connect with us on our social media accounts. Search for The Bookers Alliance on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X.